Right, so welcome back to the Curry Stew, the Chutney podcast. This is episode 4, and this is part 2 of episode 4. I don't know how many parts we will have, but we start part 2 right now, and I think Richard has a story first. Richard?
We have parts like chicken.
Parts like chicken.
We have parts like fowl.
We are a poultry depot.
We have the deep pot.
Depot, not depot, depot.
So, leading on from the last episode, I told you all that I have one of the best stories about Mamaguy I've ever experienced.
Right.
And I am in a band rehearsal. I wouldn't say which band it is. An artist who does not work with the band came to rehearse. The person came in, and I'll just say it's he. So he came to rehearse. And of course, as with some of the Chutney songs, depending on the type of song it is, you'll have your share, and you'll lead off with your
right.
I can't do it,
Right,
I don't want to make too much fun out of it, but that's what the whole kind of sounds like.
That's the share you're talking about, not a share of your pie or a share of pizza or nothing like that, right?
The musical, the vocal share, right?
Yeah.
So the artist starts up, and then they hear the harmonium, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but the artist is really like emphasizing it, but like it's so overemphasized that everybody in the band room kind of starts to giggle under themselves, right? Like, right? And everybody looking down like this and thing. And the artist's eyes are closed, so he can't see what's
going on in the band room.
Everybody like, and he's like, and then he starts to sing his song, whatever. And the rest of the song is fine. After that, now, one of the band members goes up to him and say, "Hey, boy, you sound real good there, boy. You sound real good." And then he said he sounds like a particular artist, a very well-respected Chutney artist. He sounds just like that man, And then the guy was like, "Serious?" He's like, "Yeah, you remind me, you handle it real good. You see that shirt? That shirt could win awards." And then he was like, hey, great, thanks, boy. Thanks. I really appreciate it, but hey, you don't love it. And then he left.
Yeah.
And then that band member turned to me. I was like, yeah, sound like so-and-so. He said the person's name, right? He said, yeah, sound like so-and-so. You sound like a goat. So I was like, wait. Shred. And of course, everybody in the band room is hearing what he's saying. Right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sound like so-and-so. You sound like a goat. And I'm like, whew. All right. No, I don't. Listen, you could all talk and sing with people, right? That's fine. And you could catch little kicks and sing with people.
Yeah.
But then, that's, in my mind, that's one of the greatest kind of Mamaguy. But at the same time, it's not as bad as it could get. It could get way worse than that. And what are we really doing? What are we hoping to achieve by continuing to talk to people like this? Because you are actually telling somebody that they're sounding good. First of all, I think that's the root of what it is that you are telling someone that they're doing a good job when really and truly you think they sound like a goat.
Well, the thing is, there's a difference, right? From what you're saying, from the band perspective, the band member saying that, and then when the artist left saying something else. The thing is, though, the Mamagism with the fans that really love, their bands and artists, the fans never turn and say something different. Whatever they feel within themselves, even if they know that a particular song or a particular delivery was not perfect or up to standard, they will always tell that band or that artist,
You're the
greatest thing we ever, right? And whatever they feel, they withhold that from coming out. They kind of just keep it within themselves, and they continue with the praise, and continue with the love and anything. It could be that band and artist could come and sing Sesame Street and Chutney style, and they'll be like, that is better than the original Sesame Street, boy. You understand?
Whereas you saying that, and somebody gonna take the idea and run with it.
Well, it's possible. And the thing is, it's been there now like 3 or more decades. And that's for me, that's why the chutney industry is where it is now. It's a big part. But anyway, we have more to dissect than just that part.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there are different forms of the mamagism, right? So that was just one example of that level.
Right.
We also spoke about where the fans will not say these things to their face. But then now, leading off from your point, is that they will go online. They will go on Facebook, the glorious Facebook, and say, who he feel he is, who she feel she is, where she going with that so-and-so outfit. and only certain people could wear heels. And why this one cake on so much? Hey, anyway, there will always be keyboard warriors, but we don't need to be like that, right? So let's say, all right, let's just say we can't get rid of the keyboard warriors. Fine. Let's leave them right there. But what we could do is improve our feedback. We could improve our contribution to the artists and by extension, the art form itself. We could improve what we say because we already know that there are higher standards that we can achieve. It's not like we don't have good musicians. It's not that we don't have good vocalists. It's not that we don't have good video directors. It's nothing like that. It's just that people are believing what their fans tell them. And why is that? I don't know if this is the only genre. And I'm not saying this to ridicule anyone, but I don't know any artist who just wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to be an artist because there are people out there who are going to tell me what to do. And I'll just do it. Yes, that's me. I'm that artist. I'm going to be singing whatever people tell me to sing. All right, cool. There's a place for that, right? So if you want to sing like that, all right, cool. Go and sing in the certain zones that will take that. But don't expect the growth that you feel as though you need to experience and benefit from. Because where's the work that's being done? It's not being done. So what do you expect? So what we need to do, or I find that we should do, is that learn how to guide the artist. If they're taking so much guidance, right? One piece of feedback that we get from the artists, both you and I get in Big Daddy, is where they say, yeah, well, they love the Bollywood, so we're going to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Fred, that's not all you could do. I don't have any problem with the Bollywood. I don't have any problem with the covers. But that can't be the only thing that you do it.
Yeah.
Because then we don't have a chutney industry. We have a covers industry.
Exactly.
We have a Bollywood covers industry. That's what it is, right? Don't try to sugarcoat it. That's what it is.
Yep.
What are you doing about it as an artist, as a performer, as an entertainer? What are you doing? How are you leading these people that you feel as though going to take you somewhere? I want to know, are you all getting any shows to go and do these covers in India? You all getting any offers to go Pakistan and sing that? Where are they going with that? I'm just asking. I'm just wondering, how many collaboration with these people have you done?
Yeah, you remember.
If you think as though you have such talent and you're so great at these things, again, is that you don't have the talent, Is that I think that we don't have the foresight in ourselves, and I'm speaking about the artists, right? We don't have the foresight in ourselves to say, right, I could take a chance and lose, because it's not even a chance you're taking. You already have the talent, you could already sing, you could play an instrument, you all could perform. Why not just take that and just do something that people in India could be proud of?
Anything
that they could like? Because if you say that if people in this place like what you're doing, which I don't know how many of that we have, is that if we feel as though, or let's say if India knows that Trini people love their music, how about if we make something that they could like?
Yeah.
How about that? I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's true. And the thing is, even if you want to sing a Bollywood style of music, in terms of Hindi language, Indo music, you can do that as an independent
That's fine.
creator, where you write your lyrics in English, you translate it, you get a melody by whichever way you want to get the melody, an original melody, and you sing an original Bollywood type song. It wouldn't be Bollywood because it's not from an Indian movie, but it would be somewhat of a a Indo independent song, if you want to call it that way, right?
Right.
I don't know what to even phrase it or term it as, right?
Right.
And it will be along the lines of what you want to do, but it will be original. It will be your work continuously. Again, doing the covers, as Richard said, is like, you're transforming the chutney industry into a cover industry. And just recently, I was telling you about, Richard, how maybe 1 out of 20 or 30 songs now is a chutney release, right? It's gotten in the last few weeks. I can't remember, maybe 1 out of the last 50, 60 songs, has been a chutney one. I can't remember.
As in like chutney soca or traditional chutney?
I think the one I remember was chutney soca, if I'm not mistaken. But everything that has been released in the last few weeks, like 99.9% cover. And the thing is, 2 or 3 artists released the same cover in the last few weeks, right? And I watch that and I'm like, this thing is not getting better. This thing is getting to a point now where it is ridiculous. It's like, what are you, I mean, what are we in? What industry are we in now? You rightfully said it's not a chutney industry because there is no chutney, nothing chutney or chutney related at all. One, and then 50 songs later, then 50 songs later. I mean, come on.
All right, so here's an idea for that. I'm a music educator where I teach people how to make music using software. Right? In my case, it's Ableton Live.
Right.
So a lot of people locally will know about Ableton Live when it comes to live performance because they use Ableton Live software and controllers to play back the song stems so that you can actually have the studio sound coming onto the stage.
Right.
However, I teach students both privately and at the University of Trinidad and Tobago, or UTT, for some of those who know. And I teach in a music degree program. I have a whole Ableton Live course. But one of the things that I will teach is how to remake a song. So let's say if you have a Bollywood song or any kind of song,
right,
I will teach you how to remake that because you have to try to reverse engineer everything. So it's just like if someone is studying like if a car manufacturer is studying another car manufacturer, which they do, they will try to figure out, okay, how come they got this design to work? How come they got this engine type to work or whatever?
Right.
So same thing with music. You try to understand, okay, what sort of drums did they use? What sort of melodic musical instruments did they use? Did they use a saxophone? Did they use electronic piano or an organ or a guitar? Different types of percussion or brass or anything like that, right? So we try to remake these things. So first of all, let's say if you have a guitar and it's playing something, I teach them how to find the guitar in the software and you learn how to program the MIDI notes to play the guitar sounds, whether it be a strum and an chord or a melody. I will show you how to do all of those things, right?
Right.
But doing all of these things now, you are learning how that producer or those producers came up with that song. So in all of that now, you learn style, you learn technique, you learn effectiveness, because then you get to understand, oh, I really love when this strings part comes in or this type of sound effect. And I really like how they did it because it had a very long reverb tail and it sounded like it was really far away.
Right.
So you learn how songs are created and you understand how that producer or those producers got to get that emotion out of you because you like that song.
Right.
So because our industry is so versed in remaking these things as well as in their own style, because they will say, okay, this is our version, right? Or is a chutney version or whatever it is. But let's say if you have like a little dolak in it, or you remake the drums to a kind of soca thing or chutney soca style. Okay, cool. But if you know how to do all of that and you learn how to play over all the parts and stuff, you could actually use that to create something new.
Right.
Because let's take for example, Afrobeats was really big up to a little while ago. Now Afro houses are a really big thing where people are remaking popular songs and just making a very, very simple production when it comes to Afro House. It's just like a kick, some shakers, maybe some finger snaps, a sawtooth wave going pum 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 pum. That's truly so, and that's it,
Right.
right? And that's Afro House. So that's like the in thing now. And then you have lo-fi and all of these things. It's not that you don't know how to do it. First of all, you need to understand the style. Now, it's not that Bollywood people have like rhythms coming out. They say, right, well, this is the Bollywood rhythm. And this, that, even though there is a local Bollywood rhythm, right? But they're not going to do those rhythms thing because if you do it, then everything is going to sound more or less the same.
Yeah, yeah.
But what they do, let's just say if you use minor chords, very, very, very slight music lesson here, right? So major chords in music, they sound happy. They sound very positive. They're very uplifting. So that's why a lot of soca music is created using major chords. Whereas any song that has a lot of emotion or it sounds sad or makes you feel lonely or you start to think about long time or your ex or some kind of thing, maybe they're using minor chords. There's a different, right? So different groups of notes. You have major, you have minor, you have a whole set of different scales, right? You will have these songs usually predominantly in minor scales where it gets out that type of emotion. Let's start there. Let's try to recreate one of those or try and do a cover of one of your favorite Bollywood songs. Have it in the minor key and then just say, all right, well, let's try and change this up a little bit. So let's just say if you have something that is a song section that is 8 bars long, you could start with that. You could go in the software and say, okay, this 8 bars, everything stays the same as these 8 bars. 8 bars, for anybody who doesn't know, is like different counts, right? So you have a beat, 4 beats make up 1 bar. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, and goes down here, right? So after 8 bars, you have like a change and it goes into something else. And at different parts of the song, you might have different notes, different chords. And then after that, that might be a pre-chorus. And then after those 8 bars or 4 bars, you'll have a chorus that might last 8 bars. And then you have after chorus, which is another 8 bars and whatever. And just by following the recipe of the boundless amount of Bollywood music that we have that are really, really good, we could take those songs and those melodies and those chords and try to recreate something with it. Let's start with the chord because there are really and truly no new chord progressions that you can create unless you're doing something like real weird and you create a Z minor or some kind of thing like that, right?
Z minor.
But we spoke about this before where we could actually do a show, one of our Chorus shows, and I will show you how to change up the notes.
Right.
And come up with your own thing. Right. And if anybody's interested in that, let us know in the comments if you want to see that. But those are things that we could do, and I'll show you how simple or in some cases how difficult it is to do. And that's why sometimes or a lot of the times a lot of people are shying away from it and they don't want to try because the thing is that if people like, again, my last thing on this point is that we've heard so many times the point of where people love the Bollywood music and they know this, so they want to do something that's familiar. But how about this, right? Every week, new movies come out. New music come out. How come these same people learning all the new songs? What, they can't learn a new song from you too? If you say that they're familiar with that, how long that song come out now? 20 years ago? No. They know the new music is playing on radio. How come you can't learn the new stuff too?
Well, it begs the question. It begs the question. Are the Chutney artists or the local Indo artists, are they lazy? You have to ask the question directly. Are they just blasted lazy? Because the industry has not changed in over 2 to 3 decades. So, you would think by now, right, with musicians, being their actual musicians who can create music, who know chord structure and minor and major and all the bars and everything that you just spoke about, right? We have many musicians very talented in the industry. And what do they end up doing? Covers and more covers. Nothing changes. So it begs the question, are they lazy? Is it that they just want to be in their comfort zone, being lazy? I mean, from my perspective, not create anything, happy go lucky, and that's good for them. And maybe when carnival rolls around again, yes, we'll put out one chutney or one chutney soka, and that's the creativity for the year.
Mhm.
And then next year again, we will put out one. Oh, well, I mean, for some people, it's more than one, but once it's not carnival, full
Right.
stop. Nothing happening in terms of creating original music.
We'll actually have a response to that, but we'll have to wait until part 3 of this wonderful discussion. Right? So stay tuned. Part 3 is coming your way soon. I'm going to answer the question, why are these people, or actually, are they lazy? I'm going to tell you next episode. Stay tuned. See you soon.